I'm like, no, I got to get out. I'm just
Yeah.
embarrassing myself.
Yeah.
I'm hurting the team. We end up winning anyway, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Hey, were you a trash talker?
Not really. You know,
seem kind of like a cool. Were people trash talking you?
not really. It was anybody who trash talked me probably didn't deserve to. Like, it was always guys who would just talk, talk to everybody. But nah, like the guys who were really big trash talkers really didn't talk a lot. Like Chad Johnson, played against him a few times. Steve Smith, those were trash talkers, but they didn't. I was older than them, so they always had a little different respect for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean they great players and they.
Oh yeah,
like I'm gonna tell
Hall
you
of
something.
Famers, man.
So I have a nephew who was really good high school ball. He went to Gardner Webb, played running back. He used to always tell me one thing. He said, whenever he would do kick return, he said I could always tell who started and who didn't start. He said whenever they would come down and we would just kneel the ball down. Whenever they would run down, they still talk trash. He said I'd tell them every time, I already know you don't play. I already know you don't play and you don't
That's
play.
a good way to
because
pick
you
'em
running
out.
your mouth like we're not even doing anything. We're going to the sideline and you popping off, so I know you don't play. Because I feel like the great players, they don't have to talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be done by their play.
He kind of like has that demeanor of Barry Sanders. You ever played against him?
Almost.
They almost.
You know, well, he retired right before my rookie year,
okay,
and they were our second game on the schedule.
Oh, wow.
I wanted it. I mean, he was my idol growing up.
Okay.
I was a
But
running
you got
back.
that same kind of like demeanor. Like he was real chill.
Yeah.
Great. You know, like when he scored a touchdown, he just hand the ball off. I never seen you kind of like showboat or nothing.
No, that just wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know, I always been taught to be myself. I never tried to get out of character. It was just who I was.
For the folks, I know where you're from, but let them know where you're from, part of Georgia.
Folks in Georgia, way down south.
Yeah.
You know how Georgia's shaped with the big dip and the shape of Georgia. That's my county.
Kind of about like Waycross and
Waycross, Okefenokee Swamp.
Yeah.
We down there. Gators in the backyard. That's where we from.
Yeah. I went to Albany State, and at the time I had a girlfriend. She lived in the Hunter. You heard of the
Oh,
Hunter?
that's
So-
right.
Yeah,
That's our neighboring county, baby.
When I was
Brantley
there, they
County.
used to always talk about you guys. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Now that town is smaller than
Yeah,
my
it's
town.
small. I used to go down there.
Very small.
Yeah.
What's the size of your town?
Right now, probably about 4,500, maybe, I think. Something like that. 4,500 people, mostly black, but by a small margin.
Was it a close knit community?
Yeah, very. And it's funny, like we're close knit, but we're very conservative. I mean, when you talk about Georgia being a red state outside of Atlanta, we are the epitome of that. And it shows in the way the justice system is run, the way communities are run, the way the streets look. You could just tell there hasn't been a lot of change over the years, and it's unfortunate because those people down there deserve that.
I heard you on 92.9 The Game like a couple weeks ago, and you was talking about something with movies. What was going on? Yeah.
Well, a movie I was working on, this guy, Glenn Owen, writer-director, he's been sitting on this script called Signing Day for a while. And just through mutual connections, he reached out to me and asked me if I had any interest in the film business. And I'm like, well, this is probably the perfect time, being in Georgia with all the tax credits and things you can get. Just seemed like a good business move. Well, when he sent the script, of course, I'm a little intimidated because he had it in raw form. I'm like, okay, let me read this. After about a week of looking at it, let me read this.
Yeah.
I read it. I could relate. It's called Signing Day, and it's about a coach trying to sign this top athlete coming out of high school, and it just resonated with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can relate to this. And then Glenn, he turned out to be a cool dude. He was a walk-on basketball player at UGA a little before I got there. So I was like, man, this dude, our visions are sort of aligned from a social aspect too.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, let me see what this is all about. So a couple years later, movie's made.
Yeah.
Now we're just trying to find somebody to buy it and get behind it. So
Okay.
that's where we at.
Man, signing day. All right.
Yeah, bro.
We're gonna look for what was signing day like for you, or should I say, what was the recruitment
Yeah.
process like for you? Were you considering anybody else other than Georgia?
Well, I tell you what, my brother was at Georgia, so
Okay.
He was
Older brother, right?
Older brother
Okay.
Ron, he was at Georgia. He was there 3 years before me. So for me, it was pretty much written on the wall. But I didn't ever let people know that I was gonna commit.
So what Ronald had gotten you, if you would have been.
No, Ron.
So if you went to Tech, what would you said?
I don't know what he would have said because it was never discussed.
Yeah.
It was always known that I was gonna go,
Yeah.
but I didn't tell people outside of my family
Yeah.
that. So I took visits. I went to South Carolina, Auburn, and Georgia Tech. on my visits, and they treated me well. But little did they know I wasn't going there.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, no,
I was just trying to get out of my hometown, take these free trips.
Yeah,
I mean, that was my motive.
Yeah, going to Georgia, man. The University of Georgia.
That's our favorite team, by the way. We true Bulldog fans.
Okay,
Man. It was
okay.
Like, back-to-back championships felt good. So, like, tell me, like, what it was like going to UGA. We talked to Quincy Carter. He kind of told us some of the things he went to. We want to hear your experiences and what was your favorite game there. Like, what do you remember the most? And I didn't know, like, I think what years were you there?
96 through 98.
Okay, so I was in college. I was at Albany State, so
Right.
I wasn't really like on my UGA game back then. But I knew the players, and I knew you played for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't realize that you played both. You played receiver a lot.
A lot.
I thought maybe you got a couple snaps, but you went both ways the entire game.
You know, and I got to give Quincy a lot of credit for that because the years before, my first 2 years, I had Mike Bobo as quarterback. And Mike Bobo had his guys like Hines Ward, Corey Allen. I mean, he had guys at the Juan Daniels, like top-notch receivers. But that year Quincy came in, you know, he bucked Georgia Tech, came to Georgia.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, y'all know the story.
Yeah.
But and he just relied on me. You know, I'm a little older. You know, I'm a junior. We were in the same class, and he just kind of vouched for me. But I had already proven I could play, which is now I'm more of a full-time receiver and full-time cornerback when he was there. Now he's a true freshman. He won the starting job, and then we were just off to the races. I caught his first touchdown pass at Georgia. I mean, it was just a beautiful matchup for us because we didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
It was just, man, we were both top athletes coming out the same year.
Yeah.
He just went and played baseball a couple years.
Yeah.
Good thing for us, he bought us some time to go recruit him and get him to Georgia.
Get him back.
It was a perfect matchup, man.
Man, he spoke so highly of you as an athlete and playing on both sides. He said, man, it's plenty of times that I saw Champ go in at halftime